Good morning. So this video is about understanding God's unfailing love in order to break chains and for us to be who He calls us to be. And in the book of Jeremiah, it says that if we ought to boast, we should boast in this alone, that we know God and that He's a God who demonstrates His unfailing love, and that He's a God who brings justice and righteousness to this earth, and He delights in these things. So that's who He is. So He wants us to know that He's a God who demonstrates. So demonstrate, that means He shows you. He's going to show you. That's not just to say that, it's just going to be just like reading about the Lord and then understanding His character and that's it. No, that's to say that when you understand God's character, you're going to be able to understand how He's showing you that He's demonstrating His unfailing love towards you. So in the sense, it's important for us to demonstrate unfailing love to others, right? The Bible does say for us to pick up our cross, right? And to follow Him. So pick up our cross, meaning that, something that we're born with or struggling or something that's hard for us, to keep going, right? And to follow Him. That means to live as He lived, right? Even with the cross, even with the pain, even with whatever's burdening us, we're supposed to still follow Him, not allow the pain and the burden to bring us down and to stay there, but to follow Him, right? And how do we follow Him? By demonstrating to others, that God has entrusted us with unfailing love. That means the love never fails. That doesn't mean to love the person's sin and to say that that person is the sin. That means to love the person, hate the sin. That's what the Bible says. Hate the sin, hate that there's that sin, but love the person. Love them, love them. Show them that you love them and you accept them, because it's not until you love them and accept them that they will be able to see a little nugget of God's love, how His love is unfailing. Because how else are we supposed to show Christ if we're just judging everyone and not showing them God's love, which God is love? There's no other definition to describe God besides God is love. Love is God. God is love. It's like you can't separate the two. When people say, but I love Him, or I need this. No, God is love, and you can't separate God from love. And God is a God who demonstrates His unfailing love. So when we demonstrate to others that type of love, what the world calls unconditional love, right? We get to show them a piece of Christ. And when we do that, and then when we are in our sin or like in shame and whatever, God will still demonstrate His unfailing love for us, because He's a God who demonstrates it. So He will show it. So the amazing part is that you don't have to wait to be so completely holy and clean to come to God, to pray to God, to worship God. You don't have to wait. I would even say, if you're burdened with sin and shame and you're crushed and you're in pain, there's no greater time to come to the Lord. I'm telling you this right now. There's no greater time, because when you come to the Lord and you feel completely filthy, like completely engulfed in your sin, but you have faith that He's gonna some way somehow make it work. If He exists, He's some way somehow gonna make it work for you, and He's gonna show up and He's gonna show you that He is who He is, because that's who He is, right? If you have faith, right, the small as a mustard seed, and in your dirtiness and your sinful nature and all that, and even though you're still in it and you can't get out in your sin, if you turn to God, He's going to demonstrate His unfailing love. And that's when you're going to see who He is, because you're going to be like, I was so dirty, I was so filthy, I was so sinful, and I was still in the sin, and I turned to God because I felt trapped by the sin. I was in bondage to the sin and I couldn't get out, but I turned to God. In my desperation, in my pain, and in my sorrow, I turned to God. Kind of like a last resort type of thing, but don't wait for last resort. Go to God right away in all things, right? To build your faith. But there's power when you go to God in that desperation, where you're like, all right, God, if you can't help me right now, I give up and I'm done and it's over and that's it, the end. When you go to God in those moments, when your heart is broken and you feel crushed, he is right there. Because the Bible says he's close to those who are brokenhearted. He's right there. And that he collects every single tear. So think about it. When you go to him and you feel so sinful and so dirty, and you go to him and he shows you how much he loves you in that brokenness, your mind is going to be blown because you're not going to understand why is he showing you that he loves you. You're going to be like, wait, I thought I had to be perfect and clean to be able to come to you. I don't understand why I could come to you all dirty and sinful. In some way, somehow, you don't see me for my sin. You see me for who you created me to be in your image. I don't get it. And you're not going to understand it ever, like fully. But in that moment, when you feel truly loved and accepted, not based on the sin, but God moves the sin and he sees you. When you feel that love, you're not going to want anything else. Nothing's going to compare to that love. It's going to be like codependency, like on crack. Yes, I said it. And it's going to be like, I can't live without his love. And it's going to just make you want to do better, be more, and just continuously rise. So in our brokenness, in the shame, in the sinfulness and whatever, turn to God, because he will demonstrate his unfailing love. And then when you accept that, you're able to give it out to others. Because in that, you're going to be like, if God loved me, if God accepted me for where I was at that moment, instead of shaming me, instead of condemning me at that moment, because I was so broken and I was so chained up and I felt like I was in bondage to this thing, but he just loved me. When you feel that, you're just going to give it out to others. And when you give that out to others, they're going to be able to feel God's love through you. All right, so just wanted to do a video that talks about God's unfailing love. And yeah, and that once you turn to God, don't wait. Don't wait for you to be perfect, or for you to stop one sin, or for you to turn to God now, especially in your desperation. It's very, very powerful. Well, anyways, I love you guys and hope you have an amazing day. Bye.